Ladies and gentlemen and engineers, we're going to design the engine mount in Autodesk Inventor. Okay, so the engine mount has three jobs. Keep the engine from shooting out of the top when the engine is firing, because it's going to want it to shoot out through the top and shoot the nose cone out. And then when it backfires, it's going to want to shoot out the bottom. So you need to keep it in place during that situation as well. And also you need to seal up the tube so when it does backfire, all the pressure blows the parachute out instead of just getting released from some hole in the engine mount. So you have to seal up the bottom. Okay, and remember when you're designing it, you have to make the outside circle larger than you think it needs to be, and the inside circle needs to be smaller than it needs to be, because the laser beam has a thickness, and so if you have your measurement right there, it's going to end up being smaller than you expected. The same thing here, if you have your measurement right in the middle of the laser beam, it's going to end up being smaller than it needs to be. So you need to make an adjustment. Here's the numbers for the adjustment. Also, you're going to have that little wire piece that holds the engine in place, so you probably should have a little cutout for that so that it can slide in. If that doesn't make any sense, come talk to Mr. Miller, because he will show you an example. So make the engine mount very light. Okay, also about the fins. So we're going to use a DWG for the fins and for the engine mount instead of an IPT. What does that mean? Well, let me show you. So you're going to do something like this. You're going to open Autodesk Inventor, and you're going to make a new, you're not going to make a part this time. It's not a 3D part. It's going to be a flat drawing. Now the problem is this is not going to work on the laser cutter. This stuff right here you don't need. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to right click and you're going to delete that. And then you're going to right click and you're going to delete that. Alright, now we're in better shape, except for this is not the correct size for the laser cutter. So you're going to right click here and you're going to edit this sheet, and the size is going to be a custom size in inches, and the height of the laser cutter is 12 inches and the width is 24, and you're approaching readiness. Okay, so then the next thing is like, well, how do I draw? How do I draw? Well, here's how you draw. You create a sketch, and now you can start using your drawing tools. You can start using your drawing tools. So I'm going to do some lame fin. This is your fin should not be lame like this. Now, the deal is we have to make these guys ready for cutting. We have to tell it, hey, that is supposed to be a cut or an etch. Well, how do we do that? Well, we can come over here. Let's finish our sketch. So look, that's black. It needs to be red. So we right click and we say edit sheet. No, that's not it. That's not it. Sorry. We want to edit our sketch. So we right click and we go to the properties of the sketch and we say, hey, I want this to be a continuous line. I want it to be 0.001, and I want the color to be all red. Click OK, click OK. And then when we're done, you can see that turns red. The laser cutter will recognize that as a cut. Now, if there's a section you want as an etch, you can go into the sketch, you can edit the sketch, and you can right click an individual line and you can say, oh, I want that to be a etch, and so you can change it to blue, and then it would recognize it as an etch. Okay. All right. Let's go back to our thing. By the way, your rocket fins should be very nice and beautiful, not lame like the one. They should be more beautiful like this one instead. All right. Now let's go back to our spiel and see if there's anything else we need. Okay. So when you're designing the fins, again, remember, big is more stable. Small would be faster and lighter. Cardboard is hard to glue because it has so little material, but also it works pretty good, so that's probably what you ought to use. Don't forget to make them streamlined, so round the top and sharpen the bottom. And just like we did on the fun little rockets, get your rocket tube when you're trying to glue the fins on. Get your lines all marked first, and use a book or some way to get a really straight line up and down the tube so you know where your fins go. Draw a line around the tube with paper and tape so that you have your line straight this way, and then you'll have your line straight this way on the tube, and then glue the fins to the right of the line. That way you can actually see the line and make sure they're just like totally going up and down correctly. And then the best technique is to super glue them on and then use wood glue to fillet them. If you don't know what that means, ask me and I'll show you that technique. Alright, that's all we got for now.